My name is Judson. I'm 21 and I am currently a banker.
My name is Megan Becker. I'm 21 and I work as a coffee barista and 27 days until I'm married. Judson and I met at Fresh Ground Coffee House down in Willow Grove.
My mom and I were back in the States for 3 months.
And my best friend introduced us to each other, and it was the night before he had to leave for India, and we literally were just two young kids. He was 15. I don't know what age I was at the time.
Hi, bye. I probably won't see you because I'm leaving in 2 days. But it was nice to have met you, and that was literally it. So that's how we met. I normally wouldn't put this in the story, but it actually has to do with it. So at the time in down south, I was interested in a girl that I worked with. I was actually talking to a mutual friend of Megan and I's, someone I consider like a mentor. And I was talking to this mentor and I said, hey, I'm interested in this girl where I am, she's pretty great for these reasons. So we were kind of talking about it. And so this mentor of mine was like, okay, tell me more about it. And we were kind of hashing things out. And then randomly, all of a sudden, out of the blue, she just goes, I always had a dream that you and Megan would end up together. And we're not even talking about that. Like, why would you say that? And I said, okay. She just started saying things like, oh my gosh, I think she's gonna reach out to you. She likes you, like she has this whole time. So as flattered as I was, I said, well, I don't return like the affections. Like she's beautiful, godly, awesome. So I was thinking about it and I said, I can't just conjure up feelings. I wish I had them.
Growing up, I always really respected Judson and valued him very highly, and they all knew this. As time went on and as we all grew older and as everyone went on to living their lives and such, there was always this voice in the back of my head like, Judson.
I was doing laundry on March 5th of last year. And I remember it was almost a sensation of God reaching in my heart and flipping a switch, because where there weren't emotions before then, there was just like this geyser of like, oh my gosh, she's really cool. Literally, I had that sensation. I finished my laundry, I picked the phone up and I called her. I said, so this is what I'm feeling right now. And at the end of that conversation, we were, in a sense, dating. Where there weren't feelings before, there were feelings afterwards. And so I chose to follow them, and here we are, 27 days till getting married. Crazy, right? At the time, I was living right outside of Augusta, Georgia, in a small town called North Augusta, South Carolina. So it's right on the border of Georgia, Carolina.
I was living with some really close family friends, and they invited me down to go with them to South Carolina, and this is how I was able to meet up with Judson. My
car had gotten in a wreck literally that week, so I was like, how am I going to get there? A friend of mine lended me their car, so I pulled up in the strange car to the strange house on the strange road in the strange place I've never been, which has been half of my life. Growing up as an MK, you're always in strange places you've never been.
When we first saw each other, it was kind of like a wave of relief, and at the same time, kind of like, oh my gosh, this is my Judson, and this is real. And it was a very surreal moment for the both of us.
The first place we went after that was Eggs Up, this little restaurant, this diner in Greenville, South Carolina. It had the best burger and coleslaw that I don't want to say I've ever had, but it was pretty good. So that was our first date, and then we walked around Greenville. So.
It was just so chill and like so fun, and it was just kind of like, oh my goodness, like nothing's changed. Like this is so awesome. One of the most memorable moments that I ever had of our time together in Greenville was this one day. At this time, I was really coming out of a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear and panic. We're driving, and all of a sudden, I start having an anxiety attack. And I'm like, no, this is not how I want to spend my day. This is not going to happen. And so I just start praying, and Judson has never seen this happen to me before, and it brings him out of his comfort zone. What do I do? Like, I've just ruined one of the last days that we have together.
I had planned like a sit-down dinner at this really nice restaurant and things like that, and she'd bought a dress and everything, and she just wasn't doing too good.
All I remember is that we got home and I fell asleep and woke up The kids are laughing, playing in the background, but Judson is right there praying next to me. It really made everything so real in that very moment, because we both realized that if we're supposed to be for each other, then we have to be able to say yes in those difficult times and be able to support one another when you have no idea how to support that other person.
And I remember like in that moment looking at her just asleep on the couch going like, I will never leave her alone in these circumstances. Like this is it. Like I am committing myself in this moment to being with her for the rest of my life. And it was surreal at the time, and I guess I didn't realize the gravity of that until I moved my whole life up to come live back in Pennsylvania.
From that point on, I've not had an anxiety attack. I've not had a panic attack, because he has helped me fight. He has helped me give truth a voice. He has reminded me that God is for us. That is my most memorable date, and it will always hold something really, really special for us. So Judson proposed to me November 29th, 2015.
So weeks prior, she was at my house and we were hanging out, and I had already ordered the ring, right, off Amazon, because I'm classy like that. And the ring came, and it had been dropped off at my door, and I didn't know about it. So she goes to leave my house, and she walks out and she finds the ring package like right there at my doorstep. She walks downstairs, she's like, "Here, this is for you." I'm like, oh, thanks. And then later I text her, I'm like, guess what? The new part for my guitar came in. It's a pickup, because like a guitar pickups are roughly the same size as a ring box.
5 minutes later, I get this text from Judson saying, "Oh, hey, my guitar pickup came." I don't care if your guitar pickup came. Little did I know that that was my ring. So the weekend comes by, and I'm working, and it's a Sunday evening, pitch black out. It's, winter basically, and it's cold, and I'm exhausted. And Judson picks me up from work. "Let's just call it a night. I'm gonna go home." And he goes, "No, no, 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 no." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "We're gonna go somewhere." And he drives to Paoli Battlefield. And it's pitch black, and you can't see a darn thing except the flagpole and the flag. And we're just sitting there, and I'm like, what are we doing? I want to go home. I'm tired and I'm exhausted. So finally, we get out, and I'm freezing, my teeth are chattering, and Judson is like doing his own thing. I don't know what he's doing. He's like pacing back and forth and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like over here.
It's the absolute opposite of my ideal for proposing. We sit down on the bench. And so then I put my arm around her, and I reached in my coat pocket to grab the ring box, and I said, "I have to confess something." She said, "What?" I said, "I didn't buy pickups." So I pulled out. That was my line. That's the line I had with her.
And he says this really, really, really sweet, little speech, and he finally proposes to me. But then he's on his knee, right, holding the ring, and I just bust out laughing.
And so she starts freaking out. Like she's screeching, she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm still on my knee. I'm just waiting like for her answer, because she's running around in circles.
And I'm laughing so hard. I'm running back and forth, just laughing. And he's still there with the ring, waiting for me to take it. I'm just like, ah. And he's like, "Shh, the police are gonna come and get us." And I'm like, no, they're not. Like, what?
Finally, I'm like, "Hey, I'm over here." She's like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "So, will you?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Okay."
I finally get the ring, and we go back to the house, and oh my gosh, it was just so funny, because it was completely like not what we had ever thought our proposal would ever be. That's how it happened. Good luck, guys. I hope your girl doesn't run away from you. I love Judson because he takes the time to sit with me and to talk with me through things, and he listens to me, and and he prays for me. Judson once told me that I was his quiet fire. And this was during one of the hardest seasons that we ever had to go through. At the very end of that poem, he mentions that there's a new joy breaking free. He always brings it back to God. He's always serving, always putting others first, and I love that about him.
I love her because she's a servant and she is one of my heroes. Your world stops and your center of gravity becomes that person, and you can't stand not being around them, and you just love them. It's just they become part of your DNA. It's just, I love her with a goofy smile on my face, you know, the kind of look people get when they're like, I don't know, they call it that stupid look or whatever. I get made fun of for it, but I'm like, hey, it's alright, I'm crazy about her. Coming home to like this place and not where I live currently. Because I tell you what, like getting up in the morning and driving to work and spending all day at work and then coming here and then driving home at the end of the night, it's like, oh, it just gets tiring and it's extra gas. Being in the same place, just like living together. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, it gets super complicated once you start moving together. It's like you fight over the toothpaste. And I'm like, I'm sure that happens. But I can't wait to just live together, eat breakfast together, walk to church together, walk her to work sometimes, walk to work, pick her up from work because she works right down the street. Just the little things about living together, you know, watching a movie late at night, things like that.
I think I'm just looking forward to finally living life with him. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an adventure. Knowing that we're going into a future together is so comforting, and at the same time it makes us both very excited for what's to come.